As it stands right now, with the presidential race as close as it is in the polls, Donald Trump cannot afford to have anything less than a unified Republican base. The problem, of course, is that according to multiple new polls, Donald Trump has anything but a unified Republican base. The first poll is a New York Times Siena poll that came out this week that found that 9% of likely voters who describe themselves as Republican plan to back the Democratic candidate in November, up from 5% in the last New York Times Siena poll a month ago. By contrast, just 3% of Democratic identifying voters said they will vote for Donald Trump, while 96% say they support Harris. So Trump has the support of 91% of Republicans, which is not good, and Harris has the support of 96% of Democrats, even though the poll said only 3% said they weren't going to vote for her. So I don't know where the missing 1% went, but those are the numbers. So you have roughly 9% of the Republican Party right now, possibly more in the coming weeks, defecting from their own party to vote for the Democrat. And honestly, this is not surprising because we have had a lot of Republicans come out and endorse Vice President Harris. Last month, we had 100 former officials from Republican administrations come out and endorse her. We have, of course, had Liz Cheney. We have had Kellyanne Conway's daughter. We have had Rudy Giuliani's daughter. All of these people who, most of them were on the right. Some of them, like Giuliani's daughter and Conway's daughter, not really clear what their past politics were, but it doesn't matter because they've all endorsed Vice President Harris. That's a huge problem for Donald Trump. Losing 9% of your own party to the other side is absolutely horrific. And, luckily for us folks, it gets worse. A significant chunk of self-identified Nikki Haley voters say they will support Kamala Harris for president, according to a new survey shared exclusively with The Bulwark. Donald Trump would win just 45% of those who backed Haley in the GOP primary, while 36% say they'd back Harris, the new poll shows. Trump's level of support from Haley voters in the poll represents a significant drop in support for Trump, who won those same voters against Joe Biden by 59 to 28%. That 22 percentage point change in preference could represent a swing of millions of votes. Millions. So he doesn't have the Haley voters. He doesn't have 9% of the Republicans, because, by the way, those Haley voters were not just registered Republicans. A lot of them were just right-leaning independents. If Trump cannot win the right-leaning independents, in the swing states, of course, if he loses 9% of Republican support in those swing states, this is over right now. If this holds, and if, of course, it is reflected in the swing states. If this is happening, in Alabama, it doesn't matter. If it's happening in California, it doesn't matter. But if it's happening in Texas, that's a problem. If it's happening in Florida, that's a flip. If it's happening in North Carolina, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, it's a Harris state. But we won't know that until the election. So take these numbers as usual with a grain of salt, but this is horrible news for Donald Trump, and hopefully a good showing of what we can expect on election night this year. Hi everyone, this here is little Athena, and Athena would like to know why you haven't subscribed to Fair and Balanced yet, so please don't let Athena down. Subscribe today.